Tonight, the flood emergency in the Midwest as wildfires burn out of control out west. Near Milwaukee, homes flooded, cars nearly underwater. Emergency rescues overnight.
For a subject who's trapped in the elevator, water is above their ankles currently.
The state fair shut down. People forced to wade through water to escape. And the new threat heading into the week. In Colorado, a race against time. Wildfires out of control, burning thousands of acres. A nearby prison evacuated. And now millions from Washington state to Texas facing an extreme heat threat. Some CDC workers scared and angry, they say, after that deadly shooting near the agency's campus.
So I do feel targeted.
What they want their boss, the health secretary, to do now. President Trump may be extending yet another invite to Alaska this week, the Ukrainian president, as the world looks ahead to that key summit with Putin. And what we're learning about new reports of the feds being brought in to patrol the streets of Washington, D.C. ahead of a presidential announcement tomorrow. Israel's defiant message as its plan for Gaza's future takes shape despite international pressure over the growing humanitarian crisis. New warnings about this popular supplement widely available at stores across the country that some say can feel almost as addictive as opioids. The luxury boxes, digital scoreboard, the seating for thousands, the new $62 million stadium, not for the NFL, but a high school team as the big business of youth sports booms. And there's good news tonight about getting creative and making your case to have a shot at love.
This is NBC Nightly News with Hallie Jackson.
Good evening. We are coming on the air with a washout in Wisconsin. Dangerous flash flooding ripping through parts of Milwaukee. New images just into us show some of the dozens of water rescues. Whole families, even a dog, being loaded into boats and more relentless rain on the way tonight. Hundreds evacuated after intense storms forced the state fair to shut down early. You can see people here wading out, other cars submerged, one person sitting on top of their car waiting for rescue. And new video from above showing cars stuck in the middle of flooded roads. Tonight, some 9 million folks are under flood alerts stretching from Wisconsin to Oklahoma. And out west, it is fire, putting thousands more at risk in Colorado and beyond. We have team coverage tonight, starting with Maggie Vespa in hard-hit Wisconsin.
Washout in Wisconsin, sweeping flash floods, swallowing neighborhoods, stalling cars, and forcing water rescues across the area.
For a subject who's trapped in the elevator, water is above their ankles currently.
The state fair closing early with huge crowds taking shelter before wading through flooded parking lots. Some cars underwater, this man sitting on top of his. Today, this football field completely submerged. The Milwaukee area slammed with almost 15 inches of rain in the last 24 hours, a potential record.
We are still in the middle of it. There's another system headed at us, but we're doing everything we can.
We're already getting an idea of how serious the damage is here. Look at this. Floodwaters swept away part of this home's cinder block foundation. You can see straight into their basement. Jean Krajewski is the homeowner. Coming back and seeing this, you thought what?
Devastation because it's uninhabitable.
Floodwaters still surround Lauren Kaiser's home, a car stranded in those trees nearby. Water in his basement still rising after he fled this morning. When you opened this garage door, what happened?
The water just came coming in, and then everything in the garage started to float.
The same system proving deadly in Nebraska Saturday. Authorities say a woman died and a man was seriously injured after a tree fell onto a vehicle. Now, Milwaukee, the latest city slammed by flash floods, events made worse, researchers say, by our climate crisis, catching more and more American families off guard.
Maggie is joining us now from Wauwatosa. And Maggie, even a little more rain could be really treacherous in some flooded spots like the one behind you.
Yeah, Hallie, exactly. And you can see how high the water is, right? Like how fast it's moving. And then look back here. We have this street sign sticking out of the water, that red fire hydrant there in the background. Like this is clearly a neighborhood that's still flooded. And we have flood warnings in effect through tomorrow morning with more potential rain in the forecast through tomorrow night. Hallie.
Maggie Vespa in Wisconsin. Thank you. Out west, a race against time in Colorado to get the upper hand on wildfires burning out of control, leading to evacuation orders, including for some prisoners. Dana Griffin has the latest.
Tonight, erratic wildfires out west.
Unpredictability is probably the biggest thing.
2 lightning-caused fires burning in northwest Colorado, forcing evacuations, including nearly 200 inmates.
We have a drought-stricken forest that basically burns like gasoline. It'll burn really fast, almost as fast as a car can drive.
Just look at this incredible fire whirl captured Friday. Smoke blanketing the state. Michelle Morgan, owner of Elk Mountain Inn, took these photos of flames and a hazy sky.
There were a couple days that were really ugly. Hard to see out much past the motel.
You're kind of blind, and it makes it a little more scary at that point.
This comes as firefighters across the West have been battling flames all week. Arizona's Dragon Bravo fire burning in the Grand Canyon, scorching more than 140,000 acres. And in California, conditions improving after the Canyon fire north of Los Angeles forced thousands to evacuate Thursday, injuring 3 firefighters. One had to be airlifted to a hospital after his pickup truck rolled down this hillside. The Gifford Fire, the state's largest this year, burning in Central California, has officials warning residents to be cautious.
If you have hoses, even garden hoses around your house, have them ready for us to deploy.
The threat remains as heat alerts impact 30 million across the West and plains. Dana Griffin, NBC News.
To Atlanta with new anger and fear from some inside the CDC after a deadly shooting near the agency's campus. Priya Sridhar reports.
Tonight, current and former CDC employees and allies in Atlanta fired up, angry following Friday evening's shooting that left a responding police officer and the alleged gunman dead.
Secretary Kennedy likened CDC to a Nazi death camp. He has accused CDC workers of deliberately harming people. He has spread disinformation about the vaccine and told people that the vaccine causes harms that it does not cause.
Dr. Anna Yusuf was on a call held by the CDC director yesterday with members of the agency's Center for Immunizations and Respiratory Diseases department to discuss the shooting. She says many of her colleagues blamed the Trump administration's rhetoric and specifically Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for the attack.
He needs to publicly denounce the vilification of federal workers and CDC specifically.
The health secretary has previously made comments like this unfounded claim about the COVID vaccine.
It's the deadliest vaccine ever made.
He posted on X on Saturday, "We're actively supporting CDC staff on the ground and across the agency. We stand with them." Authorities identified the alleged gunman as Patrick Joseph White. A neighbor of his who requested anonymity tells NBC News that he expressed anti-vaccine sentiments to her on multiple occasions and told her that he believed the COVID-19 vaccine made him sick. Abby Tai is one of the founding members of Fired But Fighting, a group made up of laid-off CDC workers. She says the shooting didn't surprise her.
Among us folks that work at CDC or have connections to CDC, something like this is always in the back of our mind.
The CDC director says at least 40 bullets hit 3 buildings on the campus. In an email to employees, CDC's chief operating officer says the shooting was a targeted attack related to COVID.
Priya is joining us now from outside the CDC. And Priya, we should note here, police have not determined an official motive yet.
That's right, Hallie. Authorities here have not released one yet, but they say they haven't ruled out that the CDC was targeted. We reached out to the CDC for a response about some of their workers' criticism of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and we haven't heard back. Hallie?
Priya Sridhar in Atlanta, thank you. Just days away now from a critical summit between President Trump and Russia's president in Alaska. And we are learning now another invitation may be extended to Ukraine's leader. Vaughn Hilliard is at the White House.
Tonight, ahead of the Trump-Putin meeting, 4 sources tell NBC News that the White House is considering extending an invite for Ukrainian President Zelensky to join in Alaska. Though Putin just last week said Ukraine was far from meeting its preconditions for face-to-face talks.
The way to peace is to have a decisive leader sit down and force people to come together.
Ukraine's ambassador to the U.S. today keeping the door open.
If needed, President Zelensky, of course, will be present at the meetings. We have been very open about it, but let's see how this will go.
This after leaders of several European nations promise they're committed to the principle that international borders must not be changed by force. The comments coming after President Trump suggested Friday that Ukraine may have to cede some territory.
There'll be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both.
This weekend, top Ukrainian officials met in England with Vice President J.D. Vance.
We're going to try to find some negotiated settlement.
And tomorrow, the White House's special envoy Keith Kellogg heads to Ukraine to continue those discussions. Today, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte saying any territory concessions by the Ukrainians must not be legally recognized as part of Russia under international law.
It will be about territory. It will be, of course, about security guarantees, but also about the absolute need to acknowledge that Ukraine decides on its own future.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham also insisting there be security guarantees for Ukraine in the case of any future Russia invasions.
You need to tell Putin what happens if he does it a third time.
Vaughn Hilliard is joining us now from the White House. And Vaughn, before the president gets to Alaska, we're expecting to hear from him about a federal push in his own backyard.
That's right, Hallie. The president says he will make an announcement tomorrow morning about the, quote, crime and beautification of Washington, D.C. Now, over the weekend, he already dispatched federal agents across the city, despite a drop to note in violent crime here compared to last year. I'm told by an aide to the mayor of D.C. that she has not yet been briefed on tomorrow's announcement. Hallie?
Vaughn Hilliard, thank you. President Trump also speaking today with the head of Israel as that country presses forward with plans to take over Gaza City, despite international backlash. Here's Molly Hunter.
Tonight, in the face of growing international outrage, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu doubling down.
We have about 70 to 75% of Gaza under Israeli control, military control. But we have two remaining strongholds, Gaza City and the central camps in the Muasi.
In a press conference today, the Israeli leader was clear. He wants to control the entire Gaza Strip, and soon.
We're talking in terms of fairly short timetable, because we want to bring the war to an end.
But that's not how the vast majority of UN member states see it.
Expanding military operations will do nothing to bring an end to this conflict.
Today, in a rare Sunday emergency session, country
a plan of horror and destruction.
After country,
they act with brutality, cruelty,
called on Israel's restraint, except the United States, further isolated in its support for Israel.
The United States supports Israel's right to defend itself against Hamas's terrorism. And ultimately, Israel has a right to decide what is necessary for its security.
But nearly 6,000 miles away in Gaza, the 100th child died of starvation today, according to the health ministry. International organizations say Israel is still not allowing in enough aid. This father says, "We're exhausted. I'm going out to get food for my children, and I swear I don't even have a bite for them to eat."
And after that UN Security Council session, Netanyahu and President Trump spoke on the phone, the Israeli Prime Minister thanking Trump for his, quote, steadfast support. Hallie?
Molly Hunter, thank you. Back here at home, officials say 4 children and 2 adults have died in a massive house fire in Waldorf, Maryland, south of Washington. Crews are still searching for any other possible victims, with the cause of the fire under investigation. Still ahead tonight, new warnings about an herbal drink available across the country with an ingredient known for effects similar to opioids. New concerns tonight about a popular supplement widely available in stores and gas stations across the country with a key ingredient that feels to some similar to opioids. Maya Eaglin has more.
Tonight, social media warnings going viral online about this little blue bottle that packs a big punch.
This is a warning specifically for parents, but I guess really for anybody.
This 2-ounce herbal tonic called Feel Free is sold at gas stations and convenience stores. It's advertised as a mood and energy booster made with plant-based kava root and kratom.
What does kratom do to your body?
The Food and Drug Administration has actually designated that kratom specifically acts as an opioid.
NBC News reached out to Botanic Tonics, the maker of Feel Free, for a response to claims that their product is addicting. They sent us a statement that reads in part, Botanic Tonics has sold over 129.7 million servings of Feel Free. We've received fewer than 1,000 consumer adverse event complaints total across all categories, with 0 complaints involving severe addiction.
Johnny, no.
John shared his experience with Feel Free to millions of viewers on TikTok. He asked us not to use his last name out of privacy concerns.
I've been sober 8 years from heroin and meth. It was a feeling when I drank it that kind of brought me back to how I was.
John says he spent 12 days in the ICU dealing with withdrawal.
I was taking a lot, like 10 to 12 a day.
Kratom has been banned in 5 states, and although it is not federally regulated, the FDA and DEA have issued warnings against it. Chronic use has been associated with insomnia, seizure, and even liver damage.
Really do research before you put something in your body.
A good reminder as advocates urge for more regulations and safeguards in this space. Maya Eaglin, NBC News.
We are back in a moment with our first look at a massive $60 million football stadium, not for the NFL and not for a college team either. The big business of high school sports next. We are back with an inside look at a new multi-million-dollar stadium fit for the pros, but intended for high schoolers. The latest example of the booming business of Friday Night Lights. Our George Solis reports.
A fortress of brick and steel, Buford, Georgia's state-of-the-art high school football stadium shines like a new penny and costs a pretty one, too. A whopping $62 million. Making it the most expensive high school football venue in the state.
That price tag includes this massive 44 by 82-foot double-sided digital scoreboard, something seldom seen even at pro and college-level stadiums.
There's also a 2-story field house, seating for 10,000, and 15 executive suites. The city manager says it's paid for with their general and enterprise funds. The deal, the city owns it, the high school leases it, and in the off-season, it'll be used for other big events.
People look at this and they say, $62 million is a pretty big price tag. Is that worth it?
It is. Tony Wolf is Buford's director of athletic facilities. He says investment here has been in both athletics and academics. The student body has grown from a few hundred in the 90s to about 2,000 today. Hence Buford's $85 million high school, paid for with a special sales tax.
A lot of people make that assumption that, well, if you're building this, your teachers are probably starving. Nobody across the street is experienced anything less because of the building of this stadium.
The stadium also reflective of the state of play of high school football. Construction for Legacy Stadium in Katy, Texas cost around $72 million. At Allen, Texas's Eagles Stadium, their football palace seats about 18,000. Buford's powerhouse program, considered one of the best in the country. They've won 13 state championships since 2000, most recently under coach Brian Appling.
Why is this stadium worth the price tag?
Just because of the people. I mean, the people in this community, they deserve something special like this.
Fans say their team runs in a league all its own.
Isn't it something else? I tell you what, it rivals just about any college field I've been at.
Crystal and German Acevedo even moving to Buford to give their son a chance to compete and learn among the best.
Sometimes it's just football to some people it's life.
A part of life filled with priceless possibilities under Friday Night Lights. George Solis, NBC News, Buford, Georgia.
When we come back, there is good news tonight about finding love by navigating PowerPoint. There is good news tonight about an unexpected wingman in the search for love. PowerPoint, helping friends who are helping friends find a match. At this crowded bar in New York City.
Hello! How are you guys doing tonight?
The game of love looks a little different.
Clap if you're single.
On this night, it's not about the chase. Instead, you need to make your case.
And I can think of no one who is a better best friend than Nick. Thank you so much.
The goal for wingmen and women to help their friends land a first date.
At 9 p.m., there is a bar seat for two.
It's called Pitch and Pair NYC, where presenters try to convince total strangers to take a chance on their single friends.
She puts the hat in mental health nonprofit.
It's not exactly romantic, using PowerPoint to create real-life dating profiles, but there is a catch. You've only got 5 minutes.
Why would you not be interested?
Founder Joe Teblum got the idea so he could put himself out there.
I wanted to create something that was a little more friendly to people that were shy and more introverted, and something that was more fun and creative.
In the hot seat, the pressure's on.
I cannot tell you the number of times he sent me pictures of him in a shirt and being like, which shirt? And it's 2 floral shirts. Come on, I have a job.
Her phone dies constantly.
He works in finance. He is not 6'5". He does not have a trust fund. I'm sorry, ladies.
That's me dancing with her, and that's proof that she has rhythm.
Behind every pitch, a desire to connect the old-fashioned way.
Dating apps aren't working, so why not?
I think people are just kind of getting fatigued with dating apps.
You're Nick, right?
A little laughter.
You seem like such a nice guy. Can you record this for me?
And also, she does want someone taller than her. She's 5'6". It's not that hard.
And yes, a little love, including, of course, the platonic kind, building friendships along with the fun.
If authenticity and passion weren't enough for you, let me list out the superficial reasons why you should date Ani.
I think the way we all want to meet someone is through a friend of a friend, and this is kind of that.
Oh, we clap for love and friendship.
That is Nightly News for this Sunday. Tom will be back tomorrow. I'm Hallie Jackson. For all of us here at NBC, thanks for watching and have a great week.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.